So, what is macro social work? Macro social work can be defined as professionally guided interventions designed to bring about change in organizational, community, and/or policy arenas, Netting et al. 2017. Reich 2017 states that macro social work is important because it turns private troubles into public issues. This process is what creates change in public policies, organizations, and promotes social justice. Mosley 2017 states that macro-level problems are a result of micro-level interactions, and these interactions lead to that macro-level change. This idea supports both the definition given by Netting as well as Reich. To me, the easier way to describe macro social work is to describe it as looking through a wider lens and seeing the bigger picture. Macro practice is understanding that there's a connection between individual problems and the problems of systems. This is easily related to the systems theory perspective by Netting, as described by Netting et al. 2017. The systems theory states that there are multiple parts of groups, organizations, and communities. Macro practice, as stated previously, views the interconnections of people, communities, and organizations through a wide lens. Similarly, systems theory looks at people and the systems they are a part of and how each of these systems interact with one another. The example that I have here is a mentoring agency is made of various parts that all come together for this one purpose of mentoring adolescents. The children themselves, their parents, various school staff, agency staff, the board of directors, and of course those who support by funding the agency are all part of this system. So understanding that this is a system and there are these parts that are constantly interacting on a daily basis kind of relates back to how you would expect macro practice to work as well. So I felt those kind of interrelate best. My first macro skill is prioritizing efforts. You cannot do everything and not every problem is going to be solved. As a social worker, it can be difficult to prioritize problems that you have never experienced. Use your clients as experts on their life experiences and gather feedback on those problems. I use the example of low-income communities. Low-income people have made a number of key contributions to policy development, O'Donnell, 1993. She goes on to discuss how beyond identifying problems, clients have helped prioritize change efforts, legislation to provide eyeglasses and partial dentures for people seeking to leave welfare for work, and many other welfare policies. My second macro skill is research and assessment. Research is the foundation. According to Gamble 2011, this is where we use fact-finding and assessment tools and methods available to map assets and barriers to optimum emotional, social, and economic functioning of people. It's where we assess information based on research, evidence, and practice strategies that will be incorporated in planning programs and services to improve the lives of people, assessing the interests of different identity groups. My example here is low-income communities again. There have been many programs that have been designed over the years, such as Welfare to Work program, that just did not work. And according to O'Donnell 1993, there were research surveys that were conducted and came back inconclusive or unhelpful, but it pointed social workers in a direction where they were able to help families get off of welfare and back to work by assisting with finding childcare, just as an example. My third macro skill is engagement. Core macro skills include the ability to establish trust and cooperation of community members, Austin et al. 2005. Skillful practice includes the ability to work with diversity of clients, including difficult to engage clients. This practice not only includes the ability to engage with clients and communities, but also helping clients engage with their community. I used low-income communities as an example here again. According to Stern and Axum 2018, if people are seen as lazy, social welfare are advised to deter their use. I kind of tied this back into gaining trust with a community. It may be difficult for a social worker to engage with a community who is feeling distrustful of the social worker. And in this case, it's important to engage with them still and work hard to kind of get them to understand that you're there to listen, express that you're there for them, as that can go a long way. And then hopefully that just spreads to the rest of the community. And then it also means engaging with community leaders. So your educational, religious, financial, economic, and media leaders that can help influence positive change in the community. Out of the 6 core values, the 2 I feel are most important to macro social work are social justice and the importance of human relationships. According to Netting et al., as social workers, we are committed to the challenging of injustice and pursuing social change on behalf of an oppressed group. Based on Godson's TED Talk and Netting et al. 2017's definition, it makes sense to me that macro social workers are often in these social justice movements. These movements often ask more of you, not less. Godson, 2014. We as macro social workers are here to shape the future with the help of the larger collective, the community. My second value is the importance of human relationships. According to Netting et al. 2017, in macro change opportunities, the challenge is to include multiple stakeholders who may be both consumers and collaborators. This does go back to my skill of engagement. Not only do you as a practitioner need to be able to engage and form relationships with people in the population being served, but also with those who can influence change and advance toward a meaningful cause. And my reference page.